All right, let's go, everybody. We are doing the quarterfinals of Last Chance. And a little birdie told me this match is a knife fight in a phone booth. Up here in the top right, Clash Gaming's Reynor, representing Red Bull as well. A Red Bull athlete and an incessant shit talker, which is part of why we love him. And his opponents love to hate him. His opponent down here, though, starting off with a 12 pool. Very aggressive opening. The unluckiest player of all time, Solar. Now, keep in mind, there's people, I preface this by saying, look, yes, he's unlucky, but he actually can kick ass. People are like, well, he's just going to get his ass kicked by reigning world champion Reynor. No, remember Reynor, as much as he's the reigning world champion, has recently been having some issues where, I don't know if he got kicked out of home, he was moving around, he was playing in Roddy's apartment. For those who don't know, if you end up in Roddy's apartment, it's kind of like waking up in a stranger's living room after a big night out. You have no idea how you got there. Someone's taken your wallet. It's like, it's not where you end up when life's going well. When you're in Uncle Roddy's apartment, I mean, you are hitting all sorts of bad behavior. So Reynor has been struggling. That there, guys, builds a hatchery. When you build a hatchery, it creates a little spot of creep under it. He waits a few seconds for that creep to spread, cancels it, quickly builds a spine. Now, the problem here is look at the hit points. Because that creep has now disappeared, it's bleeding out. It will take a lot of damage from this. And guess what? Reynor didn't scout for it. Some players have started scouting for this exact cheese, but Reynor has not done it. We'll talk more about Reynor hanging out with Uncle Roddy in his apartment and smoking the drugs together and snorting the terrazine. And obviously I'm exaggerating, but basically Reynor has not been as dominant recently. And Solar, he's unlucky. And we talk about that, but he's actually a god tier player who regularly messes up the best players in the game. It's just mixed with bouts of incredible bad luck. Solar here with a very good angle. Drones on their own trying to buy time, but that's a spine crawler. You got to get out of there. You cannot defend that hatchery. Oh, he's going to try and fight? No way. I don't know if Reynor can defend this. And already the Zerglings are here. The spine crawler. Look at that hentacle action. For those who know, the spine crawler has 2 armor, which means these drones do so little damage to it. The Zerglings as well. He wants to kill the Zerglings, but notice Solar says, if you fight the spine, I'll turn and fight. But otherwise, I'm just going to keep running away, pulling back. And as more Zerglings rally in, look at that. The spine crawler even gives a little bit of a hentacle to that queen. Yes, she's a tanky lass, but she doesn't want to stand and fight that spine on her own. She does so little damage to the spine crawler, 50% because of its armor. These queens trying to fight, but man, she's getting absolutely penetrated. And Reynor gets absolutely smushed into the ground in game 1. I barely even got a chance to start talking about the players. I guess we'll pick that up in game 2. Well, that's a way to start a series. Pretty well played, eh? Well done, Solar. Well done. Well done, mate. Reynor down here is going to be a little triggered by that. Of course, Solar is representing Kaizi Gaming, by the way. I don't think I shouted those out in the first one. So anyway, as I said, guys, Reynor has been staying with Uncle Roddy a little bit. I believe he's now set up in London, and he's living there, obviously hailing from Italy originally. But there were some tournaments he was playing on like a laptop on a dining table in an Airbnb, like not optimal setups, playing with much lower FPS if he's on a laptop, playing with like the monitor height not quite right. All those little things make a big difference. If you're you're just sitting on like a chair at your kitchen table, it's not going to be the same as a proper chair that you can adjust the height, the angle of everything, get the armrests up or out of the way is the more standard one. So it's definitely, I think, Reynor's a young lad. He's like 20 years old now, I think, right? He's probably about 20 now, I think, right? Because he turned 16 and was allowed to compete in 2018. So it's 4 years. Yeah. So he should be coming up on 20 years old. So Reynor, I mean, he's a young lad. He's out there. He's a world champion StarCraft player. He's sponsored by Red Bull. He's traveling the world. He's enjoying life, having a good time. But the World Championship's coming up, and so a lot of eyes are on him to see if he's going to go into ultra tryhard mode to keep dominating the way he did earlier in the year. Now, he's opening up with a gold-based build. This is something he very predictably does like to do. Has Solar studied his opponent? He's gone gas pool hatch. Now, I love gas pool hatch into the gold base myself on these maps, but he's actually just gone gas pool into a regular, safe, easy to defend hatchery. I'm pretty sure that might be the last drone for a while, guys. We're going to see that drone come out, turn into a baneling nest, and there we go. It's going to be a 19 drone Ling Bane timing. He'll build one more drone, nothing else but Zerglings, and he's going to do a big Ling Bane attack. It's going to be a struggle for Reynor to defend. Reynor has gone Ling speed before Baneling Nest. That sounds pretty standard, right? But remember, against the gas pool build like this, and especially against, the fact that his gold is sticking out like a sore thumb, it's going to be hard to defend. Spinecrawler, a very good choice. Should kick in just in time. And look at, right now he's hunting for the Banelings. He knows there's Zerglings hiding out here somewhere. Solar hiding them on the high ground. He's getting ready to launch this attack. I said this series, I was told it was a knife fight in a phone booth. It looks like I was not lied to. I was not deceived. Oh, when he does find that, stops those Banelings from morphing too close, but then he pulls back. You might wonder why. It's because he knows Ling speed could kick in at any moment for Solar. Solar is going to launch an attack here. The problem for Raynor is his main base. In my opinion, his main base is actually the real weak point, but look at this Raynor wisely. He realizes, look, opponent's going to have Banelings. I can't really fight those head on. Let's actually go around with some of my Zerglings and try to intercept and counterattack, because fighting into Banelings with just Zerglings is a losing battle. Those drones need to get out of there. Ooh, good Baneling hit to start off. Man, oh, it does take out 2 Zerglings, that Baneling, as it goes down. The drones need to fight. They're a little slow to engage here. The Spinecrawler does tank pretty well. Zerglings trying to run into the base. 1 goes up there, 2 go off the side to hide. 2 more Banelings come in. These Banelings need big booms. They're going to get some pretty big booms, but there's still a Baneling left over. These drones trying to get to safety. That one Baneling will not complete. It will not complete. These Banelings have to cancel their morph. Tries to remorph, but the Queen still finds it. Solar's on top of his game. He's going to stop that going down. Solar also morphing 2 more Banelings on the front. These guys cancel one more time. Decide to just go for the beta Zergling harass. Does still get 1 drone, but that guy gets shot down. The Queen says, get away from my babies, you piece of shit. These Zerglings going to come in here again. Solar getting more Banelings up on the front, and 2 more coming in from the left side. Uh-oh, it's a disaster for Raynor. Somehow hasn't lost a single drone yet. I don't know how. Are you a wizard, Raynor? I think you might be a fucking wizard. It's time to go to Hogwarts School of how are you still at the equal drone count? I do not understand. 2 Banelings get a trade, and a trade is good for Raynor. If he can hang on to that gold mining, he might be okay. His gold mining has been interrupted a fair bit, though. If we look at the income tab, you can see he's ahead on income quite a bit, but then he's way behind whenever he has to pull those drones off the base. It's still 17 drones versus 17 drones. Time to build another Spinecrawler, Raynor. Oh, Solar's coming in with more Lings. A distraction on that side. Raynor's getting his own backstab ready. Oh, don't blow it up on just those 3. There's more behind that, mate. He's got his own Zerglings coming in. And it looks like he did just lose 1 more drone, but he's got more where that came from. And uh-oh, look at that. Those Banelings going to get a decent hit. First one blows up for 4. Zergling counterattack of Raynor sees an empty natural. So he knows that Solar's not ahead on workers, and he's just got to kind of stabilize and hang on. And that means keep making Banelings and keep microing them just right. But look at this. If Solar gets that Queen snipe, that'll be big. Banelings. Oh, very nice. Leaves a single Zergling to snipe that Queen. Banelings dancing around, but not really getting the big hits or anything like that. Raynor very light on Zerglings. He does take a decent fight up there, but he backs away, trying to manage fights in multiple areas. Uh-oh. Oh! Decent one. Decent. Okay, second one only gets 1 Zergling, though. Still good fights, I think, for Raynor overall. Hanging on in a very tense position, but with no Queen, no Spine to anchor the defense. This gold base still sticking out like a sore thumb, and Solar is just methodically continuing to pressure, realizing that there is a good chance he can make some good shit happen here. Baneling going to be morphing inside the base at some point. And look at this. Solar still just running these little pairs of Zerglings around. Banelings able to morph on that left side. They're going to come forward. He wants to gather up his forces a little bit. Remember, there is no defensive anchor on the gold base for Raynor. He is morphing. No, he's not morphing up there. And skirmish in the middle. Okay, this is looking like, it seems like Raynor's pushing him back, but those Banelings flanking in from the left, they get caught by 2 Zerglings. Nice moves by Raynor. Focus fire the Banes. Focus fire. He gets 1. Can he get the other one? He can get the other one, but it does take out Raynor's Baneling as well. Raynor temporarily pulling off the gold yet again, and his Queen is very low, but he's intercepting the rally at the same time, getting some good damage. Solar's starting to bleed out units here. I think Raynor might have actually held this. This build is so freaking insane, and the fact that Raynor does it every game is just crazy, but Raynor is crazy. Raynor's the kind of guy who says, do I want to defend an impossible to defend base off barely any workers and with every disadvantage possible except for just the little bit of mineral boosted income but a completely compromised defensive spot? Yes! And he willfully puts himself in this situation over and over again because he thrives in this chaos. And he feels like he can outplay his opponents if the game gets messy enough. And it seems like he's finally about to win. But as I say that, oh, he notices it. How does he notice it? He does still get 5 kills, though. Not bad for Solar. But Solar's lost some drones at home as well. And there's more Banelings coming in. And even though Solar finally gets some big kills on that natural, Solar was broken at home. And Reynor, the Chaos Master, says, step into my store of psychopath shit. I'm just going to take the gold in your face and just micro my heart out in 3 different places at once. And I know I'm better than everybody else at the mechanical side of the game. He pulls it out, ties up the series 1-1. Oh, right, guys, let's go. Action-packed series is going to continue on to the rushiest rush map of all the rush maps. Down here in the bottom right, we've got Raynor. Up here in the top left, we've got Solar. Now, neither player wants to open up 12 pool, and that's because it's very likely someone will just go pool first on this map. And Reynor, I think, will do pool first 6 Zerglings, but no, going to take a hatchery. So is Solar. Okay, so both of them putting themselves in a situation where it would have actually been a struggle to defend 12 pool, but fair enough. It is what it is. Going to be hatchery first. Now, I think what have we seen a lot of recently is that the wall off, I mean, you can do a 2-base wall off. We haven't seen much of that in pro play. Recently, it's been a lot of quick thirds, but we've seen then the wall off and the carapace upgrade and just the hatchery tech, big old Roachling Bane attack, right? That's been so popular of late. Of course, I've been watching a lot of Dark and he loves that timing so much, but we'll see if Solar or Reynor is a fan. And will they just play straight up Ling Bane? Because it is a very good map in terms of short rush distance, easy to wall natural. Just go Evo, Roach Warren, wall off, and go for some sort of, mid-game Roach play. Some people, of course, do that wall off and then they play Mutas off the back of it. I've been doing that a lot more recently. It's a very confounding play if you're not used to playing against that build because it's kind of inefficient, but it's just so hard to read. You see Evos, you see a Roach Warren, you think, my opponent's playing Roaches. And then Mutas fly out. And you're like, seriously? It's insane. There we go. Overlord sees the expansion on both sides. Identical timing. They both go for that Overlord. Reynor just a little earlier, about 21 supply, I think he started that. Whereas a little bit later for Mr. Solar. Maybe 20 supply. Solar's gone for like the 26 Overlord. And Ling Speed, 2 off gas. Ling Speed, 1 off. No, sorry, no Ling Speed, 1 off gas. So Reynor's going to play a 2-base wall off. But Solar's actually just going to go take a third. And it's the front third as well. Interesting. Okay, so he takes the front third. Reynor, we're going to go lair immediately. No, third queen immediately. That's interesting. Normally you'd build the third queen in the natural and you'd make the lair in the main. But he's going to pull both queens down to the front. Okay. He's going to build an Evo chamber there is Reynor. He's got a queen up here. He wants to be able to intercept this Zergling. Doesn't want to let that in to see too much info. Solar, though, already might have an idea of what he's up against. Oh, he's even going to sack an Overlord to confirm. Oh, he wants to make sure he knows Reynor's a tricky boy, but seeing no Ling Speed is really important. So look at that, guys. That Ling Speed's a normal Ling Speed. This here is a Ling Speed. Notice how it's more wobbly? The air above it gets really hot because they're, I don't know, growing wings for Zerglings in the spawning pool, I guess is the theory. There's hot air above it. So Ling Speed, no Ling Speed. So Solar knows, okay, you're not even making Ling Speed. You're definitely actually playing a 2-base build. And he also knows the lair is not insanely fast. So Solar doesn't have to worry about a really quick Nidus Worm or anything like that. If he was building a Baneling Nest, he probably cancelled it. Doesn't look like he ever even started a Baneling Nest, Solar. So I think Solar might have been planning to skip Baneling Nest no matter what. And just like, if he didn't see that, he probably would have done a big Zergling pressure. So that if Reynor did a Ling Bane attack, he'd have enough Zerglings to try to keep the fight on Reynor's side of the map. And thereby not find himself in a situation where he's just got Speedlings getting killed by Banelings and getting overrun. But Solar, you can see, going to go Carapace. And it looks like he's actually going to go... Oh, he cancelled Ling Speed to start Carapace, and now he restarts Ling Speed. So Solar's going to do that Carapace style, where he's going to try and overwhelm the upgraded Speed Roaches of Reynor. But it's going to be hatchery tech all day long. It's going to be all about surrounding Reynor's army with like mass Zerglings, and then holding them in place to get killed by Corrosive Biles. So Solar's like, look, 2 gases is all he wants. Overseer comes in, sees not many drones on the 3rd just yet. That already might be a little bit of a tell. And that queen up there doing a great job zoning. Very well done by Solar. So like I said, Solar's actually going to have 3 gases. He's going to go for probably up to about 8 or 9 Ravagers in total. But even as few as 5 or 6 can do great. And then he's just going to make a billion Zerglings. And if Reynor gets surrounded in a ball out of position, he's in trouble. But if Reynor can like not get caught out of position and he can kind of fall back and dodge the biles and stuff, he'll be pretty good. Is that that's a real lair going up. 6 more roaches. So it's going to be 10, 11 roaches. So he's building quite a few roaches. Is Solar. Peculiar. Really peculiar. It feels like because the Overseers are scouting so much, Solar's abandoning the plan from before. It feels like that. I'm not 100% sure. He might just queue up +1 range and try to play a roach game. It's just he's very far behind on +1. +2 already starting before you've even started +1, but there's more drones coming in, which makes us feel like Solar's in this kind of mixed position where he's just stuck playing defensively, but the better upgrade is there. +1 attack gives 2 damage. Armor only stops at 1. Does lose a roach though, does Reynor. Better angle for Solar at the beginning of the fight. Solar's got no roach speed though, but he's got the creep there defensively. Remember, in most situations, if you poo on your friends, it's not considered kosher. It's not a nice thing to do. But if you are a Zerg, that's actually like a friendly thing you can do. It boosts their speed potentially. It can give them nutrients. It can just help their whole situation. It's kind of like probiotics. So it's good for you. Counterintuitive, I know, but Abathur designs things in his own strange way. Reynor on 54 drones. He's just going to go for a huge timing, guys. Notice how he hasn't finished saturating the 3rd base? And this Overseer should see this, and he should know it's coming. So Solar's going to come in, and he's going to be like, oh yeah, that ain't saturated at all. Heaps of drones missing on that base, and he's going to know he's just got to hold the roach key down. Problem for him. By the way, he cancelled Ling Speed again, and then he restarted it, and now he's just cancelled it again. Jesus Christ, make your mind up, son. Oh, he's got 8 more drones building, though. That's way too many. Uh-oh, Solar. He's got to go nothing but roaches from here. Nothing but roaches, and he should even build a spine crawler, or he might just get overwhelmed. Reynor looking pretty healthy. I mean, there's still defender's advantage, and it's very similar roach counts. Is the 2-1 upgrade advantage that powerful? It kicks in about 30 seconds. It's going to be 2-1 versus just +1 armor. Yeah, I mean, that's massive, guys. That is so huge. I think the only way Reynor... Wait, Reynor's droning. Reynor, what are you doing, mate? He's committed so hard to a timing. He has a game-winning attack, and now he's just decided to drone up. What are you... No way. I can't believe it. Bad decision-making. Maybe his Overseer poked in and he saw no drones on the 3rd. Bad decision-making by Reynor. See, he's moving across, but he could have like 8 more roaches coming here. Reynor dropping the ball a little bit on the decision side of things. He's got a great upgrade advantage. He still has the better army. He still might be able to win this game, but this should have been a sure thing if he committed to it. And it's so weird to see Reynor be indecisive. Normally, he's the king of being decisive. I love this angle he's got, though. As long as he keeps microing this right, he can do it. But Solar's going to come around and force a fight in the open. Already a lot of Solar's drones going down in that mineral line. But oh god, that's a bad fight on the right side there for Reynor. He kind of gets caught out of position. And notice he has no roach rally coming in, whereas Solar does. Oh, he doesn't quite kill the base, though. Good defense by Solar. Still seems like it's an okay spot for Reynor, but 1-1 is now kicked in for Solar. He needs to start his +2, but he doesn't have the gas for it right now. And Reynor is still way up in workers. If he can get a 4th base down, he'll be able to transfer workers from his main in the next minute as they run out. And he's going to keep running around. He's looking for Overlord snipes. Notice Solar has not set up his patrol paths. And I've talked about this before. Some of you might not have heard me talk about it. Solar has the most awkward patrol button ever. He uses P on the keyboard. It's the funniest thing ever watching him try to set up patrol paths on his Overlords to dodge those biles. But who cares about that if you're just going to counter swing? A huge timing, a massive upgrade advantage for Reynor with +2 versus +1. But guess what? It's still a scary army. It's still a scary attack. But as that right side crumbles and Reynor dodges every single bile, that should be a powerful hold. Reynor's up 14 workers. He's still got the upgrade lead. +2 has not even started for Solar. And Reynor, he should be shutting this down, and that should be a game victory. Solar goes for the decisive attack. Thought Reynor might have slipped up, but that position that he took over there, abusing this angle between the hatchery in there, where he had that big arc of roaches, so powerful. And it was just so hard for Solar to engage. You saw the way he had to move his army down around here, and during that time he was losing drones. Very well played by Reynor, and takes the 2-1 lead. All right, guys, game number 4. He's got the 2-1 lead, and he's about to get cheesed again. He's going hatchery first on Berlingrad. This is Reynor, and his opponent going for the nasty 12 pool again. However, this time, no drone to go build that spine crawler. But I think he's going to pull drones anyway. I think he's going to do the full drone pull and build 3 spines. Because on this map, and you want to send 2 drones out a little ahead of time. 6 Zerglings, so yeah. So notice he's going to send a drone, and then he'll send another drone. And what he wants to do is he wants to mine out these minerals, and then send another drone to mine out those minerals just ahead of his push. I think is what he'll do. Wait, what? No, oh no, it is just to expand. Okay, he's not going to pull the drones. He's just going for a classic 12 pull. Does this work at pro level? I always feel like this build is so good against me and noobs on the ladder, and I don't see it do well versus pros very much. But basically, this is just a classic, I want to kill your hatchery. Or if you try to fight to defend it, kill a lot of your drones. As soon as he sees this, which Reynor has, should be pulling off gas. Pull off gas, pull off gas, pull off gas. A little slow to pull off gas there. And he's pulling 1 drone to check for that spine crawler, but basically he needs to pull drones down and try to buy time. So fight the Zerglings, pull back. Fight the Zerglings, pull back. And just preserve the hatchery's hit points. And if he can do that well enough until Zerglings and Queens pop out, then he can obviously fight them off. But he cannot lose the hatchery, Reynor. And he's seen the enemy hatchery at the natural, so he knows he's got to pull those drones, but he's pulling them very late. That hatchery's already at half-life. Uh-oh. 12, 13 drones being pulled. Oh, look at that. He lures the Zerglings out into a kind of messy fight. Loses 1 drone, though. This red drone, I'd love to see him pull that red drone to the back. Nice micro. The Zerglings here. Oh, no. He's taken too long. The hatchery's going to go down. Solar commits. Solar gets the hatchery snipe. He does get surrounded, but that is a big victory for Solar and Reynor. A little too cautious, and now, guess what? A queen's out, 2 more queens on the way. 3 queens will easily defend the 8 Zerglings. He's even going to get the Overlord kill. Guys, I always tell you in ZvZ, your first Overlord from the start of the game, you click it to here, and then you shift click it back. So if you end up getting 12 pulled, you don't forget to pull it back in the case of you microing frantically at home. Because otherwise that happens, and I cannot believe we just saw Reynor make that mistake. This is something I regularly tell me platinum players. I'm like, I notice you're always losing your Overlord while getting 12 pulled. Here's a hot tip that you should build as a habit from the start of the game for every Zerg vs Zerg. That's actually insane, dude. So Reynor just being a little bit sloppy there, man. And don't get me wrong, I still forget to do it a fair amount of the time as well, but it's very uncharacteristic for that to happen to Reynor. And Solar here, the great start, getting the hatchery snipe. He's now up 5 workers, and that's going to continue to grow. Reynor has to play full gamble from here. So he's going to go straight for a 3rd hatchery, and he's going to make Ling speed. Now, I'd like to see mass upgraded Zerglings. There's usually a good potential comeback play, something you could surprise your opponent with. If he was playing 2 base, he could try to play Mutas if he just put back on gas straight away. But I think in this scenario, definitely upgraded Zerglings is what I'd like to see, and just holding that drone key down, which he's doing an okay job of. But look at this, Solar gets his Overlord out of the way. Reynor Zerglings do come back home. Transferring workers down to the natural, spreading some creep out as well. Now, in this scenario, I'd argue you actually don't want to spread creep. And the reason why is if you're going to end up playing Zerglings versus Roaches, which you're kind of committed to at this point, you can't be wanting to give a speed advantage to their slower units. Because it kind of, yeah, it speeds up Zerglings, it also speeds up Roaches. And I mean, you could argue it cancels out, it's kind of even on both sides. But I would argue that it's more powerful for the Roaches than the Mutas, the Roaches than the Zerglings, and especially if you go to Mutas from there, that's going to be even more the case. Now, it's a mass Ling Flood for Reynor into mass surprise Zergling from Solar, but Solar's up 8 workers right now. And I mean, this is, as long as Solar realizes what's happening, that means he's got these Zerglings to defend with. So Reynor going for a big Zergling pressure. This is a terrible choice. I don't know what he was hoping to catch here. I think he was hoping to catch Solar moving out to take a 3rd. But, like, what is this ever going to do? Because, yeah. I mean, if Reynor's... If you don't catch a 3rd base, you just don't get anything with this. And I don't know, man. That feels like such a big commitment. He telegraphed it as well. He didn't even hunt the Overlord down to at least deny vision for a little bit. It's going to be really hard. You need to create some asymmetry here. You cannot play just a symmetrical matchup. As you see, it's going to be Zergling versus Zergling, but it's a bad fight for Reynor. Even though he had a concave there with the queens hitting from behind, it gets really awkward. And look at this, Solar is still massing Lings. And Reynor's up 4 workers now, but that comes at the cost of him being down about 30 Zerglings. Notice he splits some Lings off. He's trying to distract Solar. and catch him kind of out of position. The queens are trying to get back to the natural. The third base going down would not be the end of the world for Reynor. It's much better than straight up losing the game, which happens if he fights head-to-head Ling versus Ling right now. Ling's over there trying to distract. There's a random doggo. Tries to get out of the battlefield over there on the left of our screen. These Lings of Reynor need to get out of there. Carapace is still not finished for Solar, but Solar's taking good fights. Queen's coming down, transfuses. Gonna try and save the hatchery, but that's the second hatchery snipe for this game. The Zerglings in the top right still getting killed. Another random doggo hanging out going, what the shit is going on? And thank God these Zerg aren't trying to eat my face. Continuing to hang around rather than cower though, so a brave doggo indeed it is. The Zerglings are going to be massing up in a Baneling nest. Oh my god, Reynor's so dead. So he's making a Baneling nest, guys. Guess what? Roaches are already out. So Solar's already got Carapace roaches. This is basically gee. And at this point, yeah, you're going to have to just think about game 5, I think, for Reynor. A really rough start. Losing the hatchery, losing the Overlord, now losing his third base. His Ling timing with the mass Lings, I think if he'd gone a bit higher on drones before building Zerglings, it would have had a chance. But I mean, Reynor's a gambler, and I think he kind of had some sense that Solar was going to move out for a quick third to counteract his quick third, and it didn't work. He had a misread. Solar played a very good style against what Reynor's doing. He even scouts the Baneling nest, and Reynor is going all in with Ling Bane, guys. So he's making 10 Banelings. He's going to use those to blow up the Zerglings. And oh, this is actually a good spot for Solar. Hopefully he doesn't run them into it. Oh! 3 Banelings there so far. The Zergling's taking a pretty decent fight over here, but does need to surround those roaches. Remember, the Carapace upgrade is huge. Baneling's coming in from behind. The Lings need to go after the roaches. And Reynor's going to tap. He just knows he doesn't have the numbers to get through there. Solar going to take it to game 5. All right, guys, let's go. It's game 5, and it's a gold-based map. Hot damn. Raynor in the bottom right side. Going to go for the normie hatch first. But his opponent, Solar. Kaisi Gaming Solar going big in game 5. He's going to go straight for the hatch first on the gold. Now, I can't help but think about Lambo's plan. Lambo, a big influence on Reynor, a big coacher of Reynor, about going against Serral on this map and saying, look, if you're going to go gold base, I'm going to go 2 base wall off, because you have to play kind of safe. If I send out some Zerglings and hide them on the map up here or something, you're going to have to assume there might be Banelings morphing. You have to build a bunch of defense. Baneling nest. Meanwhile, I'm just going Evo Roach Warren wall off. I go for a big Roach push. I deny your gold mining for a little bit while massing up units. And then I do a big Roach Queen push here and I just kill you. And that was a beautiful plan from Lambo. Let's see if that's what what Reynor puts into action here against Solar. It can absolutely work. We'll see what goes on, man. Drones being pulled. 8 drone transfer to the third base. It's a big commitment. Reynor knows about it. And he's got an Overlord on the way. I expect 4 Zerglings. But let's see. Does he just build a drone straight away? Or is he going to go the 4 Zerglings? Because I'd go at least... maybe even just 2 Zerglings is enough. Let's see. Drone or Zergling. Drones! So he's not doing the fake Zergling pressure. Reynor, what are we doing here? Are you just going to take a normal third base and then just try and play like 3 base Ling Bane War, maybe? You could do it if you really think you're better than your opponent, but it's dangerous because Solar's going to have so much more minerals to work with. Look at that income tab, guys. Already 300 minerals ahead there for Solar, despite being down a drone. Ooh, this is going to get exciting, man. Drone going to move out to that third base. Drone's going to move down to take the natural. Got a hatchery that will be coming up here momentarily. So third base already on the way for Solar. Not going to prioritize getting the Baneling nest down super fast. So he's playing just very, very brave style for Solar. Very confident. And a normie third for Reynor. Reynor's playing a completely normal game here. Now against 3 hatch before pool, you can do this, but gold base is a different story. You've got to have some plan for getting an advantage, and right now, missing the early Zergling pressure has allowed Solar to play this incredibly greedily. I think Reynor's made a big strategic misstep by not building 2 or 4 Zerglings and hiding them on the map, because that threat would have forced Solar to stop a little lower on drones and build a bit more defense, maybe invest in a spine crawler, that sort of thing. Right now, though, it's just drones for Reynor, and it looks like he wants to play a completely normal game. A weirdly placed Baneling nest there, forcing the Evo chamber up there. Not the end of the world. It is what it is. Zerglings are hunting. He's like, oh, there are Banelings out here. What's going on, buddy? He will see the Baneling morph. Reynor caught out there. Solar not going for it, though. Solar's going to counterattack. Interesting. Okay, nice micro by Solar. And he goes for the Zergling versus Zergling trade. He's going to go for his own push onto Reynor right now. Solar is down 3 workers. Reynor's playing very defensively. It looks like he just wants to kind of outlast this gold base. Remember, the gold base does mine out incredibly quickly. And transitioning off that gold into a normal economy is kind of complicated. It's hard to pull off as smoothly just because all your timings are a little different. But at the same time, it gives you such a boost in your income. I mean, Solar should end up ahead. He's got the lair, the Evo chamber, the Roach Warren on the way. Roach Warren now goes down. +1 is already on the way for Reynor. Reynor does not have a lair just yet. Reynor's been up on workers a good handful this whole time, though, so the economy is staying very even. We'll even take a look at that income graph in a moment. Let's take a look at that. Reynor was ahead when he transferred workers. Since then, it's been all Solar, somewhere between 150 to 300 minerals a minute. Reynor Zergling sees the lair. He knows that he's up against a player who's transitioning in this game. Has he seen the Roach Warren? I don't think so. No, he has not. But he can definitely assume, okay, there's a lair. There could be mutas, could be roaches. He doesn't know for sure. He's going to sneak some lings around the top side of this map, still defending with but a bare handful of units. And Solar, he's into roach production. 46 drones versus the 53 of Reynor. Reynor continuing to drone all the way to 60. Incredibly confident from the Italian Stallion. Does get a Zergling there. So funny how much attention they pay to every single unit. You know, I'd never keep staring at these, but Reynor, attention to detail, gets in. Fake gas there. He sees the roach popping. That's very important. Tells him it's not mutas. If he just saw all these gases, he might have thought this was a Spire. But actually, wait, he did see the Roach Warren. So, yeah, maybe. Sees the Roach pop, though, so that's all fine. Roach speed is on the way now for Solar. Reynor, 10 workers up, going into roach production of his own. He's ahead on the +1 upgrade, and I think he's actually played this out just fine. I would be so panicked by a gold base. A lot of players will. Reynor's like, nah, let's play a normal game. Just macro good. And hey, if your opponent's more worried, like Solar was, as you should be with your gold base there, then you are going to naturally be a player who builds more defensive units. You build more safety precautions. Now, you might wonder, why is he killing the Bailey Nest? Look at his drone mining, guys. So he's accidentally, he's used that to kind of wall off, but then he's decided, hey, wait a second, I really need the gas. I want to go mutas, and he should be killing that Bailey Nest just to open up that gas. But I'd also love to see a quick 4th base because he's got a bit more minerals off the gold, and getting 7th and 8th gas geyser could really help, as this may devolve into a muta war. Neither player really getting the overlord speed, so no massive scouting information momentum or anything like that. And that means right now, I mean, Reynor's got a few more roaches. They've got similarly timed spires, about 11 seconds ahead for Solar, and it's going to be just +1 roaches versus +1 roaches. Who's going to make the first aggressive play? And when will Reynor take his 4th base? This game is locked in a little bit of a standstill, but because neither player knows about the opponent's mutas, it could get a little bit random in terms of how this one goes. So I'm looking at Reynor's units right now. Sorry, I meant to look at Solar's vision. Doesn't really have any scouting at all. 7 mutas on the way, though. And then straight back to roaches and +2. So it looks like he's only building a handful of mutas. This could be good for Reynor, because Reynor could now see the mutas start killing his overlords, and then hide his mutas, add +1 upgrade, and keep massing the mutas. And that's going to be huge for him. Ling's still coming in, not really seeing too much. Reynor's looking for the scouting info, hasn't found too much. His own gold base goes down. Losing that would be a bummer. And the mutas show themselves. Let's go to Reynor's camera, guys, and see what he does. Reynor's production tab should show more muta production right now. And yet it shows more roaches. 1 more muta does start up. I'd love to see a +1 air weapons. He's going to try and pull overlords back. Losing that gold base would really suck. He's trying to counterattack with Lingbane. The roaches intercept. His mutas should be able to go out there and intercept, but remember, he wants to hide the mutas as long as possible so he can crush the muta fight and then control the skies. Mass roach being built behind this for Solar. If Solar could deny the base on the gold, that'd be great. Reynor being as patient as he can. He wants to hide these. If he can hide this muta mass, kill all these mutas and get control, it'll be massive. But there's already roaches coming across the map as well. Those roaches are going to hit a big attack. He's got to show his mutas, but that means his mutas are pulled out of position and he's outnumbered on the on the ground. The mutas need to go back and join up in the fight, or he's going to get outnumbered. A roach run by goes in for Reynor. Reynor right now is overwhelmed. These roaches in a bad position for Reynor. Oh, he was not watching for a while there, and he did not see this army coming across. The mutas actually set him up so well for this attack. Solar, oh my god, he is looking great right now. My voice is just dying from the excitement. I'm so surprised by how this went. The hidden mutas is normally such a good play, but because Solar was so decisive moving across with his roaches, he's smashed the roach fight. He hasn't killed that many drones though, And now the mutas are able to work their magic. It's going to be a Corruptor transition. No way! He's going to do the Corruptor transition. Corruptor is very tanky. And if you go Corruptor Roach, what you can do is you can get enough Corruptors to fight the mutas. Even if the mutas can beat the Corruptors, they take a very long time to kill them. And then you kill them on the ground with Mass Roach at the same time. So the idea is, while the mutas are busy fighting the Corruptors, your Roaches mess up their economy. But right now, Reynor with the Roach momentum, he's going to see what he can do. Remember that he's down in economy quite a little bit. 7-8 workers. He's just got his own gold base up. And it's a decent Roach trade to start. But I think as the numbers pop out of the eggs, that should be fine for Solar. Solar's Queen's coming forward to help out. His mutas, of course, will turn the tail end of that fight well in his favor. Few Roaches now turning around to back off. Reynor still down 8 workers, but look at that. He's going to catch a few. Ooh, this will come at a big cost, though. Those Corruptors were ready in position, and these mutas are going to have to do a big loop to make sure those mutas do not take care of him. Now, he's got 18 mutas out, which is a very good count, but at home, guess what? Mutas fly in. Spore Crawler does finish just in time. Great micro by Reynor. He's got to watch for these Roaches as well, though. The mutas actually beat the Spore Crawler. That could be big if he doesn't notice that. Very rare you see a Spore go down to mutas, but it was already heavily damaged when it finished. The Queens do get over there. Killed 21 drones, lost 12 of his own. This was a really intense trade. There's 18 Corruptors on the map, which means, guess what? The mutas cannot match that. Those mutas are still flying around, but they're dying right now. Great micro. Look at the stutter step on these Corruptors. They're doing so much. The mutas, I think, are going to completely trade off, and he's going to swap into just Roaches. I think these mutas at this point are just a runaround squad, and Reynor's trying to win the Roach game right now, though. Solar has +2. Reynor does not, and that is a massive upgrade advantage in this scenario. The +2 upgrade so big for those Roaches. Every range upgrade really is, when you're in a mirrored Roach war, so massive. Still very similar economy on both sides. Reynor's actually the one with the lead. The fear I have is if these mutas ever get caught, the Corruptors are going to go across, and it's going to be death by caustic spray. It is going to be literally Solar unzipping his fly and pissing Reynor out of this game. Reynor right now, he's got pressure on him from the Roaches. If he can hold on with the Roach fight, he might have a chance, but those Corruptors, you can see them. They are going to go for the throat. And I mean, there's very few things that are good to do with getting pissed on, but when you're getting an opponent pissing on your bases and you've got absolutely nothing you can do about it, it's like someone walking into your living room, unzipping and just pissing on your living room floor. No one feels good about that. It's emasculating. It sucks. And there we go, the gold base, the most important base. Solar unzips his fly. He's got 3 Queens shooting them, but they don't do shit. The base gets burnt down. The Roaches going across. The mutas are still doing good damage. Solar's economy is very low. A very scrappy game right now, but Solar's going to refill, man. He's been drinking Mountain Dew all day, warming up for this this round of 8. This is a really big match for him. If he can get here, he's in the semis. And look at that, he finds the Overlords. Another big pickoff. His bladder's getting refilled slowly, about 10-15 more seconds till he can use it again. The muta's still dancing around. Solar's economy has really taken a lot of damage. Those mutas being very annoying. These mutas of Reynor just being micro to perfection, though. And Solar's economy has been absolutely slaughtered. He's going to go for round 2 of the piss on the gold base, realizing that's the most important. But he sees Reynor hasn't even had the money to replace that. And right now, guys, Reynor is ahead on the Roaches, and I'd love to see him go across this map and try to fight with it. Because otherwise, I think we're going to see Solar go back into muta production. And intelligently, we saw Reynor start a Hydra Den and actually finish that just now. So Hydras would be the logical choice. Oh, look at that. Solar, such patience. He sees a hatchery, but he only pisses a little bit of his fly there. Just a little bit. Gets the rebuild, and then he's going to piss on it with a single Corruptor again. Oh, look at that. Yep, he just uses a few of them. Okay, quite a few more that time. You got to cancel, Reynor. Cancel! No, cancel. Loses the minerals. Too busy microing the mutas, not to mention managing his Roach Concave over here. This is such a crazy game. He's got to get in there and snipe the rest of those drones on that gold base. So many Ravages for Solar, and that's scary. That is 12 Ravages. They're so powerful. These Roaches run in, they kill some drones. Solar will be able to clear that, just derping around a little bit with his control. This one muta of Solar, an absolute hero, kills a Ravager. Few Hydras now starting to come in. He's going to try and get muscular augments on those, add a bit more damage, but the Ravagers for Solar give him such a good defensive army. He can just use that so well to stop the advance. And these Corruptors going to come in. These mutas once again dancing around them. Pick off a drone, pull back. Pick off a drone, pull back. Great angle for Reynor, but the Biles, talked about those Biles, absolute concave breakers they are. You might think you've got a cool battle arc, but you've immediately got to spread and dodge against those Biles or they'll do massive damage. This is still a very big army for both sides, but oh my god, Reynor lets him get position. Reynor, you can't fight there. Big biles land on him. And look at these biles, as I said, just spreading them across the concave, disengage, re-engage, always looking to force Reynor to fight into those corrosive biles. We've got, though, where are those mutas? Where? Oh, they died. The mutas are gone. The Corruptor's finally hunted them down, guys. He's lost all of his mutas. And that means it's time for Piss Squad Ultimate Challenge. Solar right now wants to be doing that. And honestly, for Reynor, he's got to engage this army because he doesn't have enough things that shoot up. He's got to flank this army and fight it from two sides at once. But his other army is going all the way around because the rocks weren't taken out. And Solar isolates half the army. The flank, a risky maneuver for Reynor. It comes in a little bit too late. Big Biles zoning him out. So look at this, and now Solar turns around and says, hey, your flank has basically presented itself. Solar unzips his fly, and he says, Mountain Dew! Pisses down the hatchery, starts killing the overlords. I never realized Koreans were so into Mountain Dew. Honestly, this must be a combo. He must have been drinking a bucket load of Milkus before this as well. If you don't know what Milkus is, don't worry, guys. Give it a Google. Greatest drink ever made. Koreans are weird. What can I say? It's like Sprite and a milkshake got confused and mixed together in some weird chemical-flavored mass. It's fantastic. You know what's not fantastic? Reynor's feelings right now, because he's just had a whole bunch of hatcheries get killed by Corruptor Piss. And Solar here, catching him off guard with just the slightly faster mutas, using that momentum so well. Reynor's done such a good job of damaging Solar's economy. But even off just a small, scrappy economy, Solar's been kicking ass. That Spore Gorilla is killing the Corruptors, but they're killing the Overlords. And Solar with fantastic play, great use of the Ravagers, and I really feel that was neck and neck right up to the end. What a legendary best of 5. But look at when he isolated that army. This was so fascinating because you saw the way Reynor was like, man, I can't really get on top of this army. I think Reynor just needed to grab these units, run into the middle of the map there, and immediately come in from two sides, or threaten to do that at least, and force Solar home. But notice he splits those roaches up. He's like kind of looking for the run by, and then he kind of tries to run home or run away, and Reynor loses track of Solar's army, and Solar's like, cool, I scared those guys off into a corner. That's 20 roaches that aren't going to be in this battle. And suddenly, Reynor is so screwed. Because Solar realizes, hey, I scared that army up. Splitting your units up can be really good, but it can also be a problem. And Reynor just needed to be a little bit more assertive in taking that fight. The reason he wasn't is he was trying to go Lurkers to beat the ground, Hydras to defend the Corruptors, and be just general range damage. But while he was doing that, Reynor felt weak. And I actually think, if we look at this, what's the unit count at this point? 51 roaches, 4 ravagers. So 55 versus 54, but more ravagers for Solar. So you could argue Solar's army is better, but if you come in with a big flank, it's like the biles aren't as effective, and I think Reynor still could have kind of fought pretty well there. So I think it's debatable. Maybe he could have just looked for a sandwich on this army and tried to engage from both sides. Either way, guys, Solar played like an absolute legend, well-deserved 3-2. And he's so friggin' good, man. What a great series. A real knife fight in a phone booth. GG, well played.